Hey, shalom, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, call all Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Kakadash. Once again, double honors to the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone. Salutations go out also to the fellow Akim out there on the highways and byways, pushing this truth with all honesty and sincerity across four corners of the earth, trying to wake up the remaining hopeful elect. Here's acknowledging, too, as we just got word a few hours back that High Priest Elder Arya had passed away. All right, just in case for those of you that did not know or were unaware. All right, Apostle Tahar's teacher. Yeah, so he has passed away. So here we go. For you jigs that still think that there's any hope in this place, of course, this is Mississippi. And for the people that think like that amongst us, they got to go. Separate yourselves from those people. All right, because as we've been saying, as Great Millstone has been saying for the longest, this place is falling apart. This is the work of the Most High ultimately, so there is no healing for this place, as Jeremiah states. All right, there's no balm for this wound. All right, it's out of here, and thankfully and rightfully so. Anyway, this is a post by J.D. Craig. It says, in Jackson, Mississippi, how can a separate criminal justice system be equal? For those of you that are unaware, they're trying to, and it's in your face, create a separate judicial system for so-called whites. Yes. Yes. In 2023. Let's get into it. It goes on to say, no matter the quote's origin, well, the quote is just William Faulkner, I almost passed over it, one of Mississippi's many prolific writers, has been credited with saying, to understand the world, you must first understand a place like Mississippi. And it goes on to say, no matter the quote's origin, it is certainly true. After leaving my hometown, Mississippi, I completed my education at the University of Virginia and Columbia Law School, including studying abroad in South Africa. I realized the reverse of Faulkner's lesson is also true. The world has much to teach us about Mississippi and the rest of the nation. For those of you that have never been there, I have. Well, it's been many moons ago. You know, nothing much has changed. And it's going to explain why as I go down further. The Mississippi House of Representatives recently passed a bill that would create a separate court system and an expanded police force for the city of Jackson. Jackson, the state's capital city, has an 83% so-called black majority. Among the highest of any major city in America. The Mississippi, and yet, how well are they doing? You know, you still have that water crisis down there. Everybody's being distracted by what's, going on up here, going on in Ohio. All right. Not taking anything away from what's happening in Ohio. Yes, it's fucked up, but this has been going on for a long time. Same as in Flint, Michigan. All right, and guess who's the majority? See, there's a pattern here. Hello. It says, the bill's proposed Capitol Complex Improvement District would include all the city's majority white neighborhoods, separate unelected judges and prosecutors in a separate part of Jackson. Republican Representative Trey Lamar says his house, this goes to, you got the governor, who's a fucking redneck bastard, all the way down. This is one of his cronies here. Republican Representative Trey Lamar says his House Bill 1020 would address high crime rates in Jackson and the backlog of court cases in Hinds County. This bill is designed to help make our capital city, Mississippi, a safer city. That's what they always say. It's in the interest of safety. And we make it easier where you can jack niggers up. way these motherfuckers think. But Cliff Johnson, a University of Mississippi law professor who opposes the legislation, told the New York Times it feels like the kind of reactionary, prejudiced, provincial, anti-democratic reaction that takes Mississippi back 60 years. They long for the good old days. I'm thinking of those videos that YT Politic used to make, years ago. That one they struck down and took off. It says the good old days. All right. It says when white people catch a cold, black folks get the flu. That's so true. Jackson's water crisis isn't just a moment, it's a systemic catastrophe. Please just don't forget about us. Water crisis in Jackson, Mississippi, far from over. Those are other things you can, look into on your own. It says the special district's officials would be appointed by statewide elected officials, all of whom are white, Edomites, Not only are all of the state's current elected officials Edomites due to racially polarized voting, they may be white for the foreseeable future. Mississippi has not elected a so-called African American to statewide office since Reconstruction, people. Damn, the 1870s. What the fuck? Despite the fact that the population is nearly 40% so-called African American. You got to... Why? Because it's structured that way. Here it goes. The proposed district would put governmental decision-making on issues involving its majority white neighborhoods into the hands of white folk. Jackson's non-white individuals arrested there would also more than likely have white judges preside over their fate. You see, for those of you that are under the delusion that things are going to get better, no. These motherfuckers, and it's within their power to do so, alright, showing you who has the power and who doesn't, they can restructure this bullshit any way they want to suit their purpose. And we're at their mercy. We have to get the fuck out of here. This place has to fall. Everybody sees it, but Jake. Damn. House Bill 1020 would give the state's Chief Justice the power to appoint judges for this special district and the Attorney General the power to appoint its prosecutors. You gotta understand, people don't understand slavery in its totality. They're still stuck in that mindset that, oh, slavery ended in 1865. Well, 1863 with the Emancipation Proclamation, but it took, approximately another 2 years for at least those people down in Texas to be aware, bullshit. Because what did they do immediately after that? When they found out that that amendment would keep them from just having you in child slavery, what did they do? They switched gears, and that's all they ever do. What did they do? They started the prison industrial complex, and then they created all these fucked up ass menial and trivial cases and laws to get Jake trapped up because they needed that free labor, vagrancy, shit. Here it is, you let people go that really all they knew in their life was working on a plantation, and you just set them free with nothing. That whole 40 acres, and actually initially it was supposed to be 2 mules, the Freedmen's Bureau and all that bullshit, all that was done. And then what happens after that? You sick the dogs on them effectively, because you pull protection, all right, away from our people, and the games began, all right, with the Klan, you know, just outright terrorism. And then that didn't satisfy you, so you instituted Jim Crow shit. So it's been a constant. Like it says in Isaiah 14th chapter, he ruled with a continual stroke. You know, it's been continual. He hadn't let up. And then these so-called white people, they play these mind games with Jake. It's what's called racial gaslighting. Oh, you know, things have changed so much since, you know, the days of, you know, Jim Crow and, you know, the Klan's not after you like that. Of course, because, you know, that's, and a lot of Jake fall for that bullshit without thinking. You know, they'll just say, you know, you're right, things could be. No, 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 no. They're still beating you over the head, kicking you in the ass, kicking you in the nuts. They're just doing it in different ways. And a lot of our people fall for that because Jake has just gotten to the point where they want to be left alone. They're just content in the role that they have because the Klan isn't chasing them down. You know, not realizing that things have been set up in a way, all right, that have given you this false sense of security. And in the meantime, hey, cop can just roll up on you. Hey, what you doing, boy? You know, and then Jake has been, what, raised by the single black woman, more than likely. So he's all emotional, and they know how to push your buttons, is my point. And so it gets to the network news, your local news, and of course they're gonna, you know, tell it to whereas you're the bad guy, of course. You know, never mind they shot you 60 times. Nobody's focusing on that. They got you mugged. Just say you had a run-in with the law years earlier. They're gonna spin it to where you're Jason Voorhees. That's why we got to get the fuck up out of here. Alright? Anyway, continuing on. It says the story of Mississippi is one of constant management of white racial dominance. That's the point. Let me read that again. The story of Mississippi, you can take Mississippi out and put America there, is one of constant management of white, Edomite, racial dominance, dating to the brutal conditions on Mississippi's plantations before the Civil War. I have a book here called, it's by Dr. Claude Anson. It's two, as a matter of fact. I have both of them. And it goes into these things you heard about black history that you thought you knew. Nope. He goes further into it. Yeah. And he makes a point in the first book about how all we've been doing is spinning our wheels since 1865. And they made sure of it. I have another book right here, which is my latest. I got some more to get, but I've been advising people to get it. It's called How White Folks Got So Rich. And it gives you all the cases by which they fucked us over. And they tell you, pull yourself up by your own bootstraps. And yet they stole every fucking thing. Even when it comes down to the Asian Exclusion Acts. See, people have long memories. Everybody but Jake, apparently. And here's another, the second in the index. Good Lord. And I've done a video on Asians that live, in fact, in Mississippi. And they tell the tale about how, this is going back decades, when they came over here to this country, how it was encouraged, how they were encouraged to maintain the status quo between black and white. Keep your distance from the so-called African Americans. because it's an agenda. It always has been. Everybody comes over here, and that's part of the curses. Deuteronomy 28 and 40. Let's get it real quick. Yeah, for those of you to think, well, you know, you're just lazy. Okay, point taken. I understand Jake needs to do something. That's not the issue. The issue is you have, let's see, 43, I think it is. Yeah, here it is. There is an agenda by these people. Psalms 83, read it, you jackasses. This has been done on purpose. The stranger that is within thee, these immigrants, all these foreigners that come over here, shall get up above thee very high, and thou shalt come down very low. He shall lend to thee, and thou shalt not lend to him. They come in our neighborhoods, they have these stores and everything. You know, like I just said, the Asians in Mississippi, they made it point. They told you, said, yeah. This was, you know, they get these loans when they come here, all this shit. But Jake already tried all that. You know, after chattel slavery, 1 or 2 generations later, Jake had businesses of their own. But what happened? Someone looked at a white cave bitch wrong. Everything destroyed. Towns destroyed. Some of them at the bottom of lakes now. Everything we tried to build on our own, sabotage. That's what this book is about. Alright, and we're talking about, since we're talking about sabotage, alright, you know, that's what these devils have done to our people. And then they complain, well, they're on welfare. But they don't tell you it's more of them on welfare than us. This is why nothing has ever been done exclusively for us, because they don't want it that way. They hate to me. Everyone knows who we are. It's not just blacks. We are the Israelites. These are the curses that are exclusive to us. All of them. And no one else fits that criteria. You may have a couple of nations, 1, 2, 3, whatever, that this may apply to, but every fucking one? No. Definitely not those people over there in our land, in the land of Israel now. That has to be totally cleansed. Those foul, degenerate bastards over there pretending to be us. Alright? Amalek and the rest of their heathen horde. Moreover, he shall lend to thee, and thou shalt not lend to him. He shall be the head, and thou shalt be the tail. And that's Jake. You know? Moreover, all these curses shall come upon thee, and shall pursue thee. I encourage you to read all of Deuteronomy 28th chapter. Alright? Don't just take this, because a lot of people will take it out of context. You know, you understand when we do go over things like this, we know what's going on. Sometimes we, not purposefully, but we forget the fact that you don't. So instead of starting at 1, where Moses is talking to the Israelites, not everybody else, but the Israelites, while they're in the wilderness, he's telling them, if you do these things, if you follow the covenant, the law, statutes, and commandments, and you diligently adhere to them, oh, you're set. You're cool. Everything, hey, good to go. All right? But at verse 15, it tells you, if you do not do this, then all these curses, a couple of them I just read for you here, you know, from 16 to 68, that's your ass. And this has been, in effect, a Murphy's Law for the children of Israel. All right? And the children of Israel only. And it tells you, as I'm going to get to it, moreover, all these curses shall come upon thee, and shall pursue thee, and overtake thee, till thou be destroyed, because thou hearkenest not unto the voice of the Most High Yahweh thy power. Verse 15, to keep his commandments and his statutes which he commanded thee. And here's the point. This is an indication of who we're talking about, because these curses would stick to these people. And they shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder, and upon thy seed forever. So yeah, we're fucked up. But there's a reason for it. And until these curses are taken off, it's going to continually be so. Alright? Because thou servest not the Most High Yahweh thy power with joyfulness and with gladness of heart, for the abundance of all things. Therefore, verse 48, Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which the Most High shall send against thee, in hunger, and in thirst, and in nakedness, and in want of all things. And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee. That's why things like this in Mississippi happen. We're in the hands of our chief enemy, the lowest of the low of all the nations on the earth. This is why he was sicked on us. All right. But thankfully, we're towards the end. All right. We can see the light at the end of the tunnel. And these curses are starting, as it says in Deuteronomy chapter 30, verse 7. These curses are starting to go on our enemies. You're starting to see more homeless Edomites, so-called white people. They're not looked to as they were in times past as demigods. Anything the so-called white man say, you can set time by it. No. People are starting to see. Because the truth is coming out on what these devils have done. All right. And just how foul they really are. People don't want anything to do with them. What do you think's behind the BRICS nations and things of that nature? Everybody trying to get away from the petrodollar, which is all but done with. All right. So now the elite bankers are taking over. They want to establish complete control, i.e., the New World Order. That's why these things are happening, people. Don't be fooled by this. We want everybody to be in electric cars by 2030. I think 30, 35, some shit. Why? It goes to control, just like they're trying to establish a CBDC, the central bank digital currency. It's all about control. For you idiots that think it's all convenience and security. No. How is this more secure than a piece of paper and a vault, a safe? It's not. It's all out there for anybody that knows what they're doing with computers to take every fucking thing you got. It's all about control. When this so-called pandemic went into effect, all we have to do away with, there was a practice run. We have to do away with paper currency because disease. And how many fucking decades have you been dealing with paper money and not getting sick off of it? It's been cocaine and all kinds of shit on it. Motherfuckers counting money. Did you ever get sick? No. So miss me with that bullshit. All right. Continuing on, wrapping up, it says the story of Mississippi is one of constant management of white racial dominance, like we just stated, dating to the brutal conditions on Mississippi's plantations before the Civil War. Mississippi had a black majority from the time of the Civil War through the Great Migration of the 30s. Even as the black population statewide shrank, many cities and counties remained majority black. White residents committed to white supremacy have historically used the law and violence to maintain power in spite of their numbers. Violence fell out of favor, however, after the civil rights movements of the 60s. Manipulation of the law became more... What? Manipulation of the law became more important. They have an organization that meets in Philly every year. I think it's in August. It's called ALEC, the American Legislative Exchange Council. Guess what? Remember I talked about, at the end of the Civil War, when it went from chattel slavery to the establishment of the prison industrial complex. That's part of it. All those private prison industries and shit like that. They manipulate those laws and things to benefit them and keep those private prisons filled, because it's all about the money. See, all they're going to do is change chapters. These motherfuckers still hate you like they did in 1600. All right? Independent state level. Anyway, it says, what happened to one person, one vote? The creation of special districts has flown under the radar as a tool to control resources, but could result in racial, and it does, in racial inequality. Special districts are now the most common form of government in the United States. Since 2017, state and local governments have created almost 800 special districts. Damn. Bringing the total to an all-time high of nearly 40,000. Remember I told you this is his kingdom. He can maneuver and restructure things at his whim. Here you are. My vote counts. It never did. And their popularity continues to grow. The U.S. Supreme Court has ruled that the principle of one person, one vote does not apply to certain special purpose districts. How many of you knew that? For you all-American Jakes. All right. Certain special purpose districts, such as water and irrigation districts. Courts have also deferred to states on decisions to shift from a system of election to one of appointment for local government bodies, which gives you more room for what? Mismanagement, bias. In other words, you can do what you want with your Negro population. That's basically what it comes down to. It says, but this proposed capital complex improvement district is not just making sure the water is running. An issue in Jackson where the state legislature provided very little aid until there was a crisis that received national attention. Exactly. It got out what was going on. That's the only reason they addressed it. The special district would have broad law enforcement powers and its own separate courts. These are the kinds of normal government activities and so disproportionately affect different groups that a popular election is required under the U.S. Constitution. The right to a popular election is even more important in Mississippi, where the state elects nearly its entire judiciary. The proposed district is also questionable under the Federal Voting Rights Act to the extent it removes the right to elect judges and prosecutors for a discriminatory purpose. God dang. Yeah, Mississippi as a whole. These sayings didn't just sprout up out of, well, just making fun of Mississippi. No, you got some vile pieces of shit running that, and they want to keep it that way. This is about power. All right, power over people that have no recourse. And that's one of the reasons we're telling you out here on the highways and byways, you need to wake up to who you are, one. Find out who your power is. His name, the Most High's name is Yahweh, and his son's name is Yahweh Shai. Not God and Jesus Christ, respectively. All right, that's what your enemy, your oppressor gave you. No. There's a reason they're coming after our people so hard. Because the elites and a few Bible thumpers, quite a few, know who we really are. They put the pieces together. All right. Hey, so I won't hold you any longer. Hey, time's winding down. All right. This shit is getting ready to come to a head. I got to mention it. Because of all this shit, there's sure to be a civil war. All right. That's word is already out about that. Has been. You Jakes, hey, the time of Jacob's trouble is coming. That's all part of that. All right. Doesn't matter whether you believe it or not. These things are going to happen. All right. So that's why we tell you, get your affairs in order. Get your mind right. All right. That's why we get out here. We out here on the highways and byways trying to tell our people. Get all this in your head now, in your mind, in your spirit. Isaiah 33:6. These are things that are going to keep you stable in a time when everybody's running around here like a chicken with his head cut off. All right. This is Isaiah chapter 33:6. And wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of our times. Not gold and silver. It tells you, no. In strength of salvation, the fear of the Most High Yahweh is his treasure. Don't believe me? Let's go to Ezekiel 7th chapter. It says the day of the wrath of the Lord. All right. Oh man, I'm just going to go to the point, but you got to read this. Verse 4 says, and mine eye shall not spare thee, neither will I have pity, but I will recompense thy ways upon thee, and thine abominations shall be in the midst of thee, and ye shall know that I am the Most High Yahweh. All right. Now the point I was trying to make, all right, okay. Verse 19, they shall cast their silver. You have to read the whole thing. I'm just going to the point. They shall cast their silver in the streets. What did I tell you about the CBDC? All right, they're trying to make everything digital. There's a video of this. I think he was in Northern Kingdom. This has been like a couple of weeks ago. He went to a Dunkin' Donuts, I believe, was unaware that they'd already switched over. This man had, you know how you spread a deck of cards? Nothing but hundreds and everything else. And with all of that, he couldn't even buy a $6 cup of coffee because they didn't accept material or, cash and coin. It was digital. How about that? This is what it's telling you. They shall cast their silver in the streets, and their gold shall be removed. Their silver and their gold shall not be able to deliver them in the day of the wrath of the Most High Yahweh. They shall not satisfy their souls, neither fill their bowels, because it is the stumbling block of their iniquity. Because everybody made that. Oh, you got to make that money. All you see in these rap videos, make it rain, all this stupid bullshit. That ain't going to save you. You made that your idol. That was your stumbling block. Hey, so with that, to the next video. Hey, I'm sure, I hope everybody who views is edified. Like Nina Simone said, hey, Mississippi got down. Hey, shalom.